Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delayed start. I didn't have my webcam plugged in, and when it's not plugged in, it's not going to work. So I was sitting there fiddling with the cords, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's not plugged in. So, first troubleshooting tech tip of the day. If it's not plugged in, it's not going to work. Happy Kid says first here. I'm happy to have you here. I know you've been here in the past, so I know you know how this goes. I think we have some really exciting things to talk about today. Um, we probably will get derailed a little bit because I actually had an agenda to talk about ChatGPT next week, but it looks like Google kind of published some articles yesterday, which we've kind of talked about a bunch in the past, which is kind of exciting, kind of scary, cool. Oh, we have Anna in here as well. What's up, Anna? Feel free to send anyone here, Anna, that can kind of benefit from these live streams. If it's something specific I can answer here, I'd be happy to. So just send them over, and I can take care of that. Yeah, but I just wanted to kind of go over one of the many reasons why publishers would actually leave Ezoic. I know, kind of weird to say, but I think 99% of the time it's actually due just to a misunderstanding of how things work. So it's not actually, we're going to go over reasons why, specifically they would leave. We can say site speed stuff, or we can even say, earnings weren't as good. And I kind of want to work backwards from there and say, okay, well, let's make sure that the placeholders are good and everything's set up. So you're actually in the right, you're in the right place to earn well. Because when everything is configured correctly, regardless of ad rates, you should be earning more than AdSense, assuming, of course, the ad rates are pretty standard. That's also something I want to talk about today. I actually haven't checked the ad rates for today, but they were lingering around the 35, 40 mark, which is pretty low on average. Um, but it looks like recently it was just kind of going up a little bit, which is really exciting. Not much, but actually, as of yesterday and today, it did go up as well. Mm. Happy Kid says, I think a lot of people also leave Ezoic when having to come from AdSense. They earn less when they join Ezoic, even after doing the right thing. So again, that could also be the case. Let's say a publisher has been using AdSense for 2 months. They come to Ezoic, everything's configured perfectly, but they're actually earning less. Well, that could actually be due to something like ad rates. So let's say they joined and started earning money through AdSense November through December, and then maybe towards the end of December they were to join Ezoic. Ad rates were to dip. That's something to highly consider because you could actually have higher CPM, and you could be you could have even more users. But even at the end of the day, after saying all that, you would actually still could be earning less with Ezoic. Again, that's not going to point fingers at AdSense or Ezoic, but we can also just point our fingers away to third-party to our ad revenue index. So that is, but honestly, Happy Kid, if we were to write some statistical equation to say, let's take in the variance between the ad, revenue index between a certain date, it would actually go and point to show that you would earn more money through Ezoic. Um, the only way you probably couldn't is if you had mediation disabled, which is, of course, our tool that will leverage basically your AdSense partners and Ezoic, so they bid against each other, and the highest paid, the highest paid bid, gets paid out to you. And of course, that's a win-win for you and for the advertisers as well. Um, Again, I'm kind of going on a tangent. I think I wanted to wait a little bit, and I usually do a good job of kind of stalling a little bit to let people join. But I kind of just started going, and I think something I do normally in these live streams is I will kind of stall a little bit to let people join for the first 5 to 10 minutes, but then I get kind of behind on questions. So I'm actually just going to start tackling those questions right away because I don't want to fall behind, and I do want to talk about some other things as well. But it seems like we have some new people in here, which is always super exciting. Healthy Being Site says, hi, glad to see you here. I'm happy you're here with me. I don't think I've seen you here before, as I just said. So if you do have a question or a concern or anything you want me to say or talk about, you can write it down in the comment section so we can kind of go from there. Happy Kid says, By the way, does Ezoic accept paid social media traffic? Also, quick question: is it possible to see EPMV at the beginning of the day? So beginning of the day of the current day, you could, yes, you could see that through our analytics tool. You could see your real-time data. Of course, it won't be as accurate as the following day. The following day, normally around 7 to 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, is when it will update to show a more accurate EPMV. But yes, you can view EPMV for the current day through real-time analytics. Me King Khan Internet says Humix share button auto off problem. So Humix share button should be turned on. I'm trying to think of why it would be auto off. You would have to first accept the agreements of Humix when you enable it. But once you do that and you turn on like grow and engage and the share button, then it should be on. But yeah, we don't turn it on because you have to first accept terms and conditions, and then you can turn it on yourself. But yeah, it should automatically be turned off because you haven't accepted terms and agreements yet, or terms and conditions. But yeah, once you turn it on, it'll stay on for sure. And that's also a really good, kind of leeway point to my next topic is, when you guys do turn on Humix, you want to make sure you actually turn on grow and engage, because this will allow other publishers to show their videos on your pages as well, and vice versa. That's obviously going to be a win for you all, because if you have other publishers showing their videos on your content, the topics can be similar, of course. The engagement will go up on average, pretty significantly, which means you'll have a higher EPMV and a higher payout. So that's good for you, because you also split those earnings between the ad that gets showed for the video. That also means if you're producing tons of video content and other publishers are sharing them, then you're earning also half of that revenue being shown on other publisher pages. So I think for us in the Access Now program, that's an insane point of for us to leverage, and it's a great tool for us to use, because we can have a massive publisher that does 50,000 views in a month show one of our videos. Next thing you know, your earnings could be doubled, tripled, and it's happened. So that's kind of why I say it, and it's actually happening for a lot of publishers right now. So it's definitely something good to utilize and consider. But Happy Kid, I will say I would actually steer away from paid social media traffic at all costs, because most of the time that paid traffic is actually going to be pretty low on engagement, and they're not going to spend much time on your pages. And basically why this is a big no-no is because advertisements will then say, you know what, I paid X amount of money for this inventory, for the users to see it, but in reality they're not even looking at the pages, they're kind of just leaving right away. So we're actually not going to pay for that inventory anymore, which is why we usually have to end up turning sites off for invalid traffic, because there's no engagement, and users aren't really interacting with the pages. So that's something to consider, and I would always stray away from paid traffic. Amir Lane says, hi, Charlie. Nice to see you. I don't know if we've met before, but as you can see in the bottom corner, my name is Charlie. I'm from the Ezoic Access Now team. My day-to-day operations are pretty all over the place, but it always comes down to the bullet point of I will basically do anything in my power to help you guys earn more. I'll basically put in all the insight to the company to say, hey, let's do this so our publishers are in a better position. So quite literally, my job is to just do anything I can to help you guys out, whether that's internally at Ezoic or externally, working with you guys setups, helping you guys create video content, helping maybe strategize, content creation plans, which is also something I'm really excited to want to talk about. But yeah, we've gotten a bunch of comments in the past about ChatGPT, so I was curious if you guys have used it to kind of implement any plans of some sort, either for SEO. As you guys know, it's pretty insane. Oh yeah, Mygo just asked about this, so maybe I'll wait a second and then answer these questions before. Also, does EPMV rise after the first quarter, for example, from March, because I noticed less earnings between January and this day? So this is actually a great question. I want to share my screen really quick. Because yes, that's a great analysis, and that's a great hypothesis you brought up. Because that is the case. So right now I can grab my date range back from the beginning of last year. So you guys can see in January, it's on the lower end, and it kind of creeps up throughout, the early springtime, as you said, and then it kind of dips down again at the beginning of the second quarter. But if we really want to look towards what you're saying here, this is the end of last year. So this is October, November, December. November, it definitely spikes for Black Friday and those days when advertisement rates are really, really high. And then as you can see, towards the beginning of January is when Q1 starts, and that's historically when ad rates are the lowest. So even if we go back to 2020, as you can see, oh, sorry, wait, I'm covering my date ranges in the bottom. Sorry about that. So if we see at the beginning of January 2020, it's really, really low. They start to increase. End of the quarter, they drop. End of the year, they drop. This is December, and then Q1 they drop. December, Q1 they drop. December, Q1 they drop. So yeah, you're exactly right about that, Happy Kid. EPMV will rise after the first quarter, and then you'll notice that normally towards the beginning of the year, the start of the first quarter, that's when ad rates really drop off. So great question there. And that's something that's really good to be aware of, and it's a really good way to just like ask those probing questions to help you guys learn more, because as a science major, I think that's one of the most important things, is asking a really good question, and then going from there. Daniel, hello, nice to see you again. I love having you back in here. Always great questions and always great insight, which is super cool. Okay, the right guy, Mygo. Hopefully I said that correctly, Mygo. What do you think about Bing plus Chat GDP if they will soon stop sending traffic to websites and instead just throw the answers directly to people asking? This means less traffic going to websites. So I think this is something that we've all been kind of considering and asking ourselves, is what does the future of website publishing look like? For right now, it's still on the uprise, and then if anything, right now is one of the best times to leverage ChatGPT to grow your current content, SEO, and kind of grow your business for now, because who knows what it will look like in the future. But for right now, I think it's a good time to be in this industry, because you can now use these tools to grow your current book of business. As you guys maybe have saw, Google announced that they are actually going to be allowing AI content. Well, I'm pretty sure I saw that. Hold on, let me see. I could have sworn that Google says, that they will be basically allowing AI content. But I think the question and the answer that I really wanted to give here, when people ask this question, is if I were a user going to the internet and searching something, let's say, what is my question? What type of oil does my car use for X year and X model? If that was my question going into Google search or Bing search from a business standpoint, the best thing they can do is feed me that correct information as fast as possible, right? So if Bing and ChatGPT can give you the answer directly that's accurate, within a split second, I think there's no real issue with that at all. What that means for the future of website publishers, of course, it's kind of a scary question to ask, but it's definitely not going anywhere. The volume that people use in terms of Google to Chat GDP is obviously still disproportionate. But yeah, I think right now is the best time to leverage ChatGPT to grow your current book of business and keep going with it, because it's definitely not going to be cut off overnight, and there's no way that will be happening anytime soon. But it is also exciting because it has the ability to give you the right answer on the split second. So I think there was a lot of talk on Twitter, and there's a lot of talk on Reddit, and there's a lot of talk all over social media about, is it right to allow ChatGPT to, or AI written content to rank first in Google search? And I think at the end of the day, if the content being given to the users answering the question sufficiently and accurately, of course, accurately is very important, then, why shouldn't it? Of course, that's just personal bias, but all I'm trying to do is think about the perspective of the user at that point. I think there's of course a lot of other things to consider. There's no originality that comes from AI written content. That's the best leverage that you guys all have. So it's definitely time to be creative, and use your original thoughts and things. Um, but yeah, I would be happy to, read some of your guys' comments here, so you guys can also hear the perspective of other website publishers, like myself, because before I was kind of using Chat GDP and AI written content to summarize things, and I'll basically create like, um, sorry, I was reading something else. It's a really good way to create like an outline. It's a really good way to summarize things. You can also pull very valuable data. And then I was basically saying, all right, now I basically have a really good idea of what this article looks like. Now let me write it myself. Sorry, I need to turn off my Slack notifications. But yeah, I really want to read your guys' input on this because I'm very, very curious. But I think also on the other side of things, one thing that I like to do is actually hard coded my first website, and I don't code a ton, and I really can't code much at all, to be completely honest. But I was basically able to prompt Chat GDP to say, hey, I have a project that I want to work on. This is what I want to do. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to cover the automotive industry. I want you to build a website. It's going to be informational. I basically gave it all this information of how I wanted to basically perform this topic. And then what I did was I just had it create, basic HTML, and then I had, create the code for my basic CSS, and then I, created code for it to basically link those together. Also with, of course, I had to create some Java, and then basically I had a fully functioning site within an hour and a half. And for someone with very little coding experience from scratch, that is an insanely impressive thing to do. But it looks like we're going back to some more AdSense questions. So let's touch base on there again. Sorry, I was kind of going off on a tangent for a little bit, but in the case where a website doesn't use AdSense, one cannot benefit from mediation, right? That is correct. But if you are approved for Ad Manager, you do have an AdSense account with that email, because when you don't have an AdSense or Ad Manager and you sign up to Ezoic and you create an Ad Manager, it actually creates an AdSense account for you. So what this means is you can go and then apply for AdSense using that email, and hopefully it will be approved without any issues. And then when you actually do that, of course, then you can actually enable mediation, and then you can kind of leverage the two ad networks together. Oh, from the Ivory Coast, Frank. Awesome, that's super cool. I love how we all get to connect over random parts of the country, of the world, excuse me. Right now, I'm in our Carlsbad office here in San Diego. That's where we would say like the main headquarters is. The only reason why I'm saying main is because I think we have the highest headcount here. Of course, we have an office in Newcastle, and in Paris as well. But that's super cool. Can I use Humix without making videos? Does it still benefit me? Great question, Princess Living Free. Yes, you can. If you don't have Humix, what you can actually do is you can actually generate 5 free videos through Flickify. So if you're unfamiliar with what that is, if you guys go into the Ezoic dashboard, you will find Flickify right next to Humix. And what you can basically do is you just grab a URL from one of your top landing pages, put it in there, it'll generate a video for you, and then you actually have a video to share to Humix. But also if you don't have any videos still, then you can then turn on grow and share, and basically we'll find videos that are similar to the content on your pages, and then we'll show other publishers videos on those pages, so that way engagement's being driven up on your pages, so you earn more. You're splitting that revenue from that video that was shared with you, and then the other publisher that made the videos is splitting the other 50% of just that video revenue. So yes, you can definitely still leverage Humix if you don't have any videos, but you can also create videos pretty easily using Flickify. Great question there. Really great question. A lot of really good questions today. Healthy being site. So how can I set up my ads? So this is a great question. There's a couple different ways to do it. If you want to create them all manually one by one, you can go ahead and use the Chrome extension. If you're using WordPress, you can download our plugin, and then we can basically create WordPress plugin placeholders for a handful of different locations on all your pages all at once. Or we actually have a brand new way of adding ads to your pages. We'll call it the placement service. And if you want me to do that for you, I can literally just give you guys my email. I'll drop it down in the comment section right now. Simply just reach out to me and say, hey, Charlie, I would love to have you set up my ads for me using this new service, and I'll go ahead and do that. That's probably your best way moving forward because it's our newest and it's kind of our next big focus. But let me put that right there. Let me also catch up on some of these questions. Ezoic levels doesn't show on my dashboard any longer. If you're approved for monetization, it should be showing. And if you're outside the US, in some countries we don't show it yet. We don't have levels dashboard simply because we don't have the translation available in certain languages. So if you are outside the US and you don't have the levels dashboard enabled, simply just reach out to me through my email that I dropped at the bottom there, or just through our support, and we can actually get the levels dashboard enabled for you guys again. Again, it was just purely based on the translation between the different languages. My Humix earnings still in the specific center, although I haven't been approved for Texas.online. Please check that, Charlie. I will definitely check that. I can't do that right now because I can't pull up and share the data of your site, but I will definitely do that right after. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely do this for you. So this is actually brings up a really good point. Sometimes if you have, a ton of ads above the fold, the ad per, the payout per ad might actually not be as high compared to others, because you just have so many different ads showing. So sometimes there is a really good balance between a lower number of ads and higher CPM. But yeah, healthy being said, I know you asked how can I set up ads. If you want to reach out to my email, I'll be more than happy to go through and check out your ads for you on hand. Or if you want me to actually just share my screen right now, if it's okay with you and everyone else to see, I can actually go through maybe your top 3 landing pages, or I'll go through your top landing page and set that up for you. So you have a really good idea of what a good setup looks like, but also how I would do that so you can replicate it on your side. And if you guys want to follow along in that process, let me know, and you guys can easily do that. But the only thing I'll need to know is I'll need to know your domain name. So just write that down in the comment section. Exclude the .com or the .org or the .xyz, because YouTube will actually flag that comment as a domain and it'll remove it from the comment section, so I won't be able to see it. So give me your domain name and exclude the .com, the .xyz, etc. And then also just say, hey, Charlie, here's my domain name, and also it's okay that you share my screen for other people to see. I just need to get the consent that that's also all right. Of course, Atif. And I don't think we've met before, Atif, so I'd like to say hello. My name is Charlie, of course, as I've said 5 times now, but I'm happy you're here. The white hat blogging. So you're right. They were never against it. They never said it's against policy. I think they were just, hinting at the idea of, handwritten original content is going to be prioritized. But I think at the end of the day, they were just kind of admitting that, if AI content does answer the question accurately and gives the information that the user is looking for, there's no reason it can't be prioritized or given first. Yeah, Simeon, if you have a link, yeah, send it in the comment section. I'll be happy to do that. Um, it says switch from AdSense to Ezoic on January 26th. Daily paid pages views were around 250, and with Ezoic, I'm currently earning around $1.50. So grateful for that. Earn only $28 from AdSense in 6 months. So that's actually awesome, and I'm really happy to hear that. Um, Another thing I actually want you to consider is if you did 6 months on AdSense prior to this, that means you also went through the highest, date range where page views were the high, or sorry, where the ad revenue index was the highest. Again, I want to share my screen really quick. So, let's say you joined, AdSense 6 months prior. So what is 6 months? July, about roughly around this time. So you basically were using AdSense for the 6 months prior where ad rates were much, much higher. And you actually joined Ezoic when ad rates were much, much lower, right? So we went from like 50, 50, 60 down to 30, 40. So that means, once ad rates do pick up, you can expect, that payment to go, much, much higher. But then your follow-up question was, I wanted to ask, using Ezoic is earning around $1.50 from 250 daily page views. Is that ideal? Depending on where your traffic is coming from, country, or if it's coming from social media or Google or whatnot. There's kind of a lot of other questions to ask, but yeah, if your traffic is from maybe a lower tier country, then this is totally normal. If the articles are really short, engagement is kind of only for a handful of seconds, maybe this is normal. But again, this is something I'd be happy to look into. Just reach out to us. Just reach out to us either in support, or you can just send me an email. I gave you guys my email in the comment section. So again, go ahead, blow that up, and I'll be happy to help. Shoko says, hey, Charlie. Blocking my eyes. I'm still here. Hello there, Charlie. Nice having you here. Chief, please help. I share content articles for my website and Facebook, so that's how I drive traffic to my domain, interest.com. The thing is, I recently discovered that my current host had implemented some foreign files on my website, therefore redirecting my views to their website. For example, if I were to get a 40K views in a day, I would end up getting only 15K views, with the rest going to their site. So day before yesterday, I migrated my site to a more reliable, I'm assuming it said reliable host or something. I'm trying to just interpret where the rest of that question was going, but I'm assuming you were saying to a more reliable host. One thing that I would be sure to check, what might have been the case here, if your host has some type of HTML caching, what can actually happen is they can serve the HTML caching, which would then bypass our Ezoic servers, so the engagement would never technically be gone to the pages where you're showing ads, which will then might be a huge hit to the revenue. But we do have a great list of hosts that we actually would suggest you use. Let me pull that up for you guys and share the article. I'll drop it in the comment section right now. But yeah, if you want to elaborate more on where that was going, I'd be happy to touch on it. White hat blogging. It looks like, or it sounded like you were going to post a URL, but then you said if anyone is interested. I'm assuming you posted it there. But as you can see, YouTube actually, it blocks domains and it blocks URLs from being commented. So you'll have to think of another way to add that URL here without the .com or something. Oh, you're texting me from Ghana, by the way. It's 6:29 here. That means you're one step closer to Friday. I'm happy you're joining in the weekend, or sorry, on the later half of the day. Again, I love having you guys here. But you're one step closer to Friday, and that's great news to me. And Gaz is here. Hey, Charlie, and hello, all of you. Everyone, let's say hi to Gaz. Gaz is a local legend. Been here a handful of times, offers great insight and great questions. Simeon Bala says, newbie question. There's also no such thing as a newbie question. All questions are good. I'm happy to cover whatever you guys want. When I add my website to Ads Manager, should I apply there first and get approval before Ezoic, or it's automatic? It's been weeks now. AdSense option is still pending. So you can actually, I'm going to try to interpret this question because I'm a little bit confused. But when let's say you sign up for Ezoic and you apply for Ezoic monetization, you can actually also apply for Ad Manager at the same time. So we can review your content and your traffic, and then Ad Manager can also do their review separately. So there's no reason why you can't have both of these done at the same time, because it'll actually just delay your time of being set live if you were to wait for Ad Manager to be approved and then go and submit for approval. So if you just follow the steps on the actual dashboard homepage when you sign up, it'll put you in the best spot to sign up for Ad Manager. That review will start, and then you'll be integrated with us, and then that review done by Zoe will be done at the same time. That will limit your time between signing up and actually showing ads. But good question there. Definitely not a newbie question. That's a great question. And then on the second part of that, you said it's been weeks now. AdSense option is still pending. So that sounds like you were talking about the mediation portion of setting up ads. So if you are talking about the mediation section and you added AdSense and it's still pending, what you'll want to do is just reach out to us in support, or again, you can just reach out to my email right here, cstever@ezoic.com. And we can actually manually link that for you so AdSense is no longer pending. Sometimes that does happen where it gets stuck in limbo and it does just sit in pending. But what you guys will want to do on your end is if you go into the AdSense dashboard and you go under third parties, you'll find Ezoic, and you just want to hit active, and that will actually also help link mediation. But again, if your mediation is sitting under pending for a long period of time, reach out to my email or support and I can get that dialed in for you. I want to disable ads on the home page, but the auto placeholder ads still put ads on the home page. How do I disable it? This is a really, really good question, and I can show you, or I can tell you how, but I would also like to just show you how because it's a bit easier. But basically, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to find the disable ads by page app, and I'm just going to create a new rule to block all advertisements from showing on the home page, and that will block all ads from showing on the home page. I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but I once saw a really funny video of someone talking about LaCroix. If you don't know what LaCroix is, it's basically like sparkling water with a little bit of flavor. I know this is off topic, but I thought it was funny. It's not even that great of a drink. I don't know why I'm drinking it right now. It's just basically sparkling water. But someone was saying that LaCroix and sparkling water taste like TV static, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then recently someone said that sparkling water tastes like your leg is falling asleep, and I thought that was also really funny. Anyway, back to disabling ads on the home page. So if we are on the home page here, let me share my screen. Window. Sorry. Cool. So if I'm on the home page, this is just an example site that, is still in the setting up phase. But if I go to the Ezoic ads section, where is it? Ad restrictions. So I'm going to go Ezoic ads to add restrictions. And then I'm going to go to disable ads by page here. And then what I'm going to basically do is I'm just going to select new rule. And then I can then first select page or directory. I want to select it just for this single page because I don't want it for multiple pages. And then I'm just going to simply do a backslash because that will select my home page. It's going to say the URL for clutchgearsgas.com, the home page, and then I'll simply go ahead and create this rule. And then what this will do, this will block all ads from showing on the home page. And then that will do it. You want to make sure you actually clear your cache after as well, because when you clear your cache, that'll basically stop the older versions of the homepage from showing to your users. How did the Ezoic earnings relate to page views, Charlie? Is it possible to earn a lot more than $50 from less than 10,000 page views per month? Well, it's kind of hard to answer directly how earnings to page views, because as you guys know, we use EPMV, which is kind of an array of a handful of different metrics: page views, engagement, bounce, and a lot of other things. Is it possible to earn more than $50 for less than 10,000 page views? Yes. you want to just basically think about the average time spent on your articles, along with where that traffic is coming from by country. So if it's tier one, you have a really good ad setup, and your users are also engaging with your pages for long periods of time, that is going to be your recipe, and that's going to be your trajectory of earning more than $50 for sub 10,000 page views in a month. So I know that's something that I've kind of touched up on a bunch, but maybe my best thing will be for you guys. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. Is to basically find a use case of this, or a case study. $50 earned for cool. I just want to write that down, but yeah, I can try to find a case study so I can say, hey, this publisher found, was using this niche. This is what their top landing pages look like. This is what their placeholder setup looks like. Let's take a look at some of the data, and then we can kind of go from there, because it is possible. But what I'm assuming what that would probably look like is, maybe they were in the gardening niche, which is one of the highest paying ones because they engage with pages for so long. They have, they let us set up the ads for them, so they have top of the page, they have bottom of the page, they have under first paragraph, under title page, under second paragraph, they have sidebar top, sidebar middle, sidebar floating, and then they have maybe rail ads. They also have our floating video ad, and then they're probably utilizing Humix in some sort. So that's probably what the grand scheme, or that's probably what the blueprint would look like for earning more than $50 for less than 10,000 page views. If that was my goal, of saying, hey, Charlie, let's create a new website, a chat GDP project, I would probably say, hey, let's look at the data. Gardening is one of the highest paying EPMVs. Let's focus on gardening. Let's try to figure out the algorithm of how long we want our articles to be, probably around 1,000 to 1,500 words per article. From there, I'd probably want to find some graphs and some good ways to display information other than straight words. So then when your users can then say, you know what, let's take a long look at this graph and see what's going on here. Yeah, we can look at tables as well, and then kind of go from there. But again, that's probably what the blueprint would look like for earning more than $50. By placing Ezoic ads, my website speed is down. How to fix it? So again, we as guys will probably, you'll probably, have my back here. But it's better to look at the grand scheme of your entire website when your speed goes down, other than saying, hey, look, I have ads showing now. Why is my speed so slow? Well, if you want to look at Leap and use Leap as your tool, let's say, okay, let's first look at your caching. Let's make sure your caching is at 90% or higher. That way we are serving cache pages to your users much faster. The second thing I would say is, what is all the other technology you're using on your site? Are you using, table of contents plugins that are super slow? Are you using all these other plugins that are really slowing down your site? If they are, then that's something we want to consider. You can find an alternative, or if it's not essential to your site, let's just remove it entirely. The way you can figure that out is basically using Leap in the dashboard. Leap's going to say, hey, this technology that you're using is performing significantly worse and significantly slower on X percentage of other sites. So it will give you the data of why it's giving you this recommendation. It's not going to say, hey, we randomly think that this one plugin is going to help your speed up. No, it's going to say, hey, this plugin being used on other websites performs significantly worse. So that's going to be the data to support that plugin is actually correlated with the slower speed. And we're not going to say, hey, you have to just delete it and remove it. Let's say, hey, let's find another plugin that does the same exact function, and let's use that as an alternative. That's also faster. Sometimes it can even be, a paid plugin. Let's say there's TOC, table of contents plugins that are paid and that are really good, and they offer a lot of functions. But because they offer a lot of excessive functions, there's a lot of extra scripts and things being run on your site. That can actually slow things down a ton. And we can say, hey, we found this alternative plugin that does the same functions. It's also free, and it's also a lot faster. So that's probably what I would look at next. The third step I would then do is I would actually just analyze, some of my slowest pages using Leap, using the lab, I can't speak, using the lab function in Leap, and say, hey, let's analyze your worst performing page and figure out exactly what is going on here. Maybe you have above the fold image that is being loaded as a JPEG or an IMG, and that's going to be the biggest hindrance to your site speed on that page. And then what we can do from there is say, hey, you don't have these features enabled that could actually help serve this image much faster. So you can say, let's turn on wow, I can't think of the name. Let's turn on all the image features under Leap, and then what that will do is, we can preload those images. Not only that, we can then serve them as WebP format, so that way it's a lot quicker, and then kind of go from there. So then we can say, hey, these things on your pages are hindering site speed. Let's do our analysis from there. What I'm trying to say is there's not as strong of a direct correlation between, simply just adding ads to your page and it killing site speed. But yeah, we can kind of minimize effects and go from there. I've turned on mediation anchor ads, but earnings are still quite low. Guys, I know I've taken a look at your site in the past, but I would be happy to do it again. I don't know why I can't remember off the top of my head. I know I could probably find it in our email. But yeah, this is definitely something that we want to take a look in. But I do want you to consider what the current ad rates are doing. They are pretty low at the moment. So if you're comparing Q4 where ad rates are at 60, 70, 80, or even last year they were literally at 100 on Black Friday. If you're looking at data and comparing late November, early December to the first couple weeks of January, there's going to be a pretty high variance, and we can definitely point the causation of that to be ad rates and not anything else. But guys, again, one of the best things to do in this scenario is to actually reach out to us in the community, so we can just do a pretty good deep dive of your EPMV. You can say, hey, I've been working with Charlie in the live streams. I've taken some of his advice. So I'm not, I don't need the basic answer of, why is my EPMV low? Let's take actually a good look and say, hey, let's figure out exactly where you're not hitting the optimal performance and see what we can do to kind of put you in that direction. So this is it was kind of a good transition here. Gavin V says, hey, Charlie, but also hello, Gavin V. Nice to see you. I don't think we've met yet, so I think this is going to be our first formal introduction. But hey, Charlie, my EPMV is significantly down from 3 months ago, despite having some significantly more traffic. Any reason for this? Without being able to actually look at your pages and say, hey, maybe there was a variance in the type of data or in the type of content you were creating from 3 months ago to now. We can take a look at that. We can say, hey, your engagement dropped for X, Y, and Z reasons. So we can take a look at that. But off the top of my head, without knowing your domain and actually looking at the hard data, the best answer I can give you here is going to be, I'm sorry to be annoying about this, but it's going to be the ad revenue index. Taking a look, well, what's 3 months ago? October, November, we have ad rates at 58. So again, when I say ad rates with a number, this is kind of just a scale from 0 to 90 or 0 to 100. So the higher the number, the higher the ad rate, the higher the payout will be. So let's say you earned $100 on one day with the ad rate at 40. Let's say the next day you were to do the same page view, same whatever, but the ad index was at 75, you could expect anywhere from like a 20 to 25% increase in earnings. So when I'm saying that, I want you to take into consideration 3 months ago or so, we had ad rates at 58, 59, 60, on the low end 53, maybe 52, but then again up to like 60 or so. And then even late November, of course, was like 70, just shy of 70. So when we're looking at the ad rates, if we were to compare 3 months ago to now, that makes total sense that you're earning less, even with a little bit more traffic or, a good bit more traffic, because the ad rates are down 30 to 35, 40, on the lowest days, 34. So let's say you were comparing January 2nd, where the ad rate was 34, to, November 23rd, where the ad rate was 56. We have a variance of just shy of 20 in terms of the ad revenue index. So let's say you have 15% more traffic from the date on January 2nd compared to November whatever we said, November 20th, you would still be earning less considering the significant drop in the ad rates, even though you had maybe a 10 to 15% bump from traffic. Again, if you had significantly more traffic, there's definitely, we can definitely look at a handful of other things. We want to make sure that you don't have any pages getting flagged with objectionable content, which of course be any pages with bad words or inappropriate words or curse words. Any of those pages will have ads removed from them because simply ad networks don't really want to bid on that inventory. But yeah, Gavin, that's kind of going to be my answer without being able to look at the actual data. If you were to reach out to us in support or reach out to my email, we could definitely do that. T-Rex, I know we've talked about this in past, but we have no websites on Ezoic that are earning money that are not approved by Ad Manager. And if they were previously, we've been making changes to kind of fix this because we found, some users were earning through Humix, not through anything else. But now you need to be approved by Ad Manager to earn money, period. Joe, hello, Joel. I don't think we met before, but it's nice to meet you. Says you're doing a great job at these lives. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that because I do like doing these live streams with you guys. I'd like to be put in a position where I can help you guys in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I definitely enjoy doing these live streams as well. I'm on my 5th month on Ezoic. It's been pretty okay with earnings, although some days EPMVs are low. But sorry, I don't know what YH means. But UH, I'm trying to use my Gen Z brain to analyze what YH could mean. But I'm earning pretty decent. I don't know if you mentioned that before, but were you saying that your mediation isn't pending? Because if so, definitely reach out to me. And if mediation under AdSense is still waiting or pending, definitely reach out to us and we can get that linked up for you manually, and you'll be earning it a good bit more. How do I turn the video sticky ad off? Great question here. Let me show you that really quick. Let me share my screen. Great question, John. Let me show you really quick. So if I'm in the dashboard on the home page, like I am right here, what I wanted to do is I want to go to the Ezoic ad section. If I find ad types here in the 3rd tab right here, I can click on that. And then over here, this floating video by default is turned on. So you can just simply turn this off, or you can turn it off for a specific device if that isn't working for you. But that's how you would turn it off. Good question. Roy AI says, just to join the Ezoic Access Now program, and I see vignette ads, sticky sidebar ads, and floating video ads aren't enabled. Should I enable them, or does it interfere with the ad setup you did for me? You can enable those. I actually think those should be enabled automatically when you do ask us to set it up for you. But yeah, go ahead and enable them. That will not interfere with our setup. And actually, we ran a major analysis recently because we found a bunch of sites that were not using vignette ads, and we found an average uptick in EPMV of 15% when you do enable vignette ads. So it's definitely something major to consider. It's definitely something you want to enable if you are revenue focused. I would definitely argue that vignette ads personally, especially for a younger audience, do not affect user experience. It's one simple click of an X. Seeing advertisements is something we are so desensitized to at points that enabling this does not seem like the end of the world or that big of a deal. Roy AI's, oh wait, I literally just read your question. MD Bin Mansour says, hello everyone. Hello to you too. Oh, we have the second part of the question. Okay, sorry. Let me go up and read the first part again so I can get this full concept for you guys. Hello, Charlie. Nice having you here. Please help me. I share content articles from my website and Facebook, so that's how I drive traffic to my domain, interest.com. The thing was, I recently discovered that my current host had implemented some foreign files on my website, thereby redirecting my views to their website. For example, if I were to get 40K views in a day, I would end up getting only 15 views for the rest of the, and only 15 views, and the rest is going to their site. So, day before yesterday, I migrated my site to a more reliable. I migrated my site to Cloudways. I wanted to ask if there's a way maybe you could suggest that I could use to scan my WordPress site to see if there are no longer any corrupted files, because I'm still highly suspicious that my website is still compromised. I might have migrated the corrupted files to Cloudways as well. So this is actually a really good question. I don't have a good enough answer to feel comfortable to giving that right now. But what I can do is, if you do reach out to us in the community for help, we can say, hey, this is probably the best way forward. And maybe we can actually see if we do have a developer, an engineer that is willing to go through and give you a quick scan to figure that out. I know there are some audit services to do this. But yeah, if you get in touch with us, I can definitely help you out. Actually, what I'm going to have you do is, can you just reach out to my email? I know I've posted it above. Reach out to my email right here. It's cstever@ezoic.com. I know my last name looks like Stoever or Stover, but it's weird and it's German, so for whatever reason, it's Stever. But yeah, reach out to me there, and I can kind of help you and figure out what exactly the best way forward is. Because yeah, that sucks, and I'm sorry. That's a significant amount of traffic. I mean, that's well over 50% of your traffic. So that is brutal, and I'm sorry to hear that. I need to know about Humix. Humix slows down my site like a turtle and major CLS issue. Any help? So you can actually lazy load your videos and preload them as well. And if you don't have that turned on in Leap, that's definitely a major function that you should for sure enable. Sometimes another really good way you can actually help with this is if you put your video placeholder below the fold, because that'll have above the fold load a lot quicker. So especially, your FID and your time to interactive is going to stay really low, which is a good thing. So try that. Make sure you go through Leap and make sure all your video functions are enabled, and then go through and maybe just change where that video is added, and add it below the fold if it is not. Thanks for the response. I think the ads earning has to do with the niche. Finance topics will always trigger more expensive ads than something like barbecue, for example. Am I right? So it actually depends on just the current data of the user. So let's say, for example, what I do all day long is in my free time, of course, not during work, is I like to look at, car stuff, new cars, new technology, new engines, new EVs, new batteries, new chargers, new, anything. I love reading about spring rates and suspension, and I love learning about, 6-pin brake setups, and I love geeking out on all car things. So it's way more likely that in reality, an advertiser of an automobile industry might just target me there. But in terms of the actual content on the screen, it doesn't matter to the ad that's showing. The only variable taken into consideration there, unless you have a directed deal set up, is the data of the user and what they're more likely to see. So if you do a ton of finance research, or let me take that back. Let's say you have a finance site and you do a ton of barbecue research on the side. Maybe you're thinking, why am I getting barbecue advertisements on my finance website? Well, that's just because what you look at and the data that they have on you personally, that's actually going to be the video, or that's actually going to be the advertisement that shows. So yes and no, a little bit. Explain about the tier 1 and 2 countries. So basically, advertisers will pay out more for traffic from tier 1 and 2 countries. Purely just, I think it's from an economic standpoint. So you'll have I think like Japan is also a tier 1 or tier 2, but like US traffic, UK traffic, Japan traffic, traffic where, maybe in Europe as well, traffic where I don't know where the exact correlation would be, but yeah, the higher payout for tier 1 and tier 2 countries. That's basically what we were talking about there. And I can show you guys what this looks like and go from there. My stats are really healthy, Charlie. Averaging 6 to 7 page views per month, averaging time on page is 5 minutes, 1.5 page views per visit, and bounce rate of 20%. EPMV is still quite low, less than $3. So guys, can you do me a huge favor and reach out to my email, because there has to be something going on here. Because if I remember correctly, your traffic is also mostly from the UK. So UK is, as we just said, is actually a tier 1 country or tier 2 country. So there's definitely something that we want to look into and make sure that gets looked at. Guys, please, if you haven't reached out to my email yet, please do, and I'll be happy to take a look. Daniel, great question. Is there any way to automate caching? I have to debug cache daily for a few pages. So yes, if you are using WordPress and you have our plugin, what you can actually do is you can set up automatic caching through our plugin. If you search CDN or Ezoic CDN management, I believe you can look up. I think it's this one right here. I'm going to send you the article in the comment section right now, Daniel. But yeah, if you have our plugin enabled, what you can basically do is go to the CDN tab of the plugin, and from there you can find our API key in the plugin, and it'll basically take you to the dashboard where the API key exists, and you can grab the API key from the dashboard, add it to the plugin, and then you'll be good to go. Or sorry, and then I think you just have to configure automatic caching, and you can include or exclude the homepage as well. So if you're making a bunch of changes to your articles that also affect and come into play what shows on your homepage, then I'll probably include the automatic caching for your homepage. See, guys, this is a great example of having ads on his site, and he even has a couple plugins that are, maybe conflicting with site speed, and he still has a score of 99 to 100 on Core Web Vitals. That's why I strongly suggest it's good to take in consideration the entire spectrum of what comes into site speed, elements, caching, how you're serving your pages, etc. My ads are running since 1 week already. Is it still worth to upload AdSense data to speed up the optimization? Absolutely. This will help out and it'll kind of serve as a catalyst for our AI to learn. Definitely turn this on and link that up, because all it will do is set you up for success better. The more data our AI has, the better it will perform. So definitely, even if you've only been here for a week, or if you've been here for a month, it's definitely worth considering linking that just to put yourself in the best position to succeed. I've gotten invited for premium, and my question is, if I subscribe for 3-year plan, what will happen if there's any issues with the middle, like AdSense, like temporary or permanent disablement? And also, do I have to pay all the fees initially, or will I pay each month from the earnings if I subscribe for 3 years plan? This is probably something you want to figure out with your manager, because if you're getting invited to premium, I believe you'll have to be in a higher level. So I would definitely reach out to your manager. But we also offer plans such as month to month. So if something were like this to come up, because I think if you're in a premium deal for a longer period of time, basically you have certain bids set aside reserved for you. So I do think there would be some issues with that there. But I would also like to just say, there's many things and there's many steps to be able or to take to kind of avoid a disablement entirely. I think it'd be pretty easy to avoid a disablement. So if that's your concern, you can also reach out to us for that, and we can figure out, hey, you have a risk in X, Y, and Z area, and we can kind of go from there. Along with the Ezoic ads, I want to implement my own banner for an affiliate product. What would be the best way to do it? So I actually don't run affiliates on my own site. I know that's probably a terrible idea because you can earn really good money through affiliates. So I actually don't have the best answer for you, to be completely honest and blunt. But if someone else wants to chime in and help out Roy here, say, hey, Roy, this is, maybe what I do for it. Please let us know. That'd be great. Is there a list for all the tiers on the site? I don't think we have a list essentially, but if you want to look at your data and you were to go by audience by country, that is definitely something I would consider looking into, because you'll get a really good idea of what a tier 1 payout looks like versus a lower tier payout. Cool, awesome guys. I'll be waiting for that email, and I'll definitely respond as soon as I can. Awesome. Oh, I was about to contact the manager. Just show the video in the middle. Perfect. Awesome. Does cool. Yeah, if you guys have anything else you want to ask, I'll be more than happy to go over that. I want to remind you guys that if you are, big on affiliates, or if you are connected into a community of some sort, a really good way to earn more money is just to actually send out your affiliate referrals to other people. Again, if I were to send a referral to 30 publishers, and if those publishers, or if one of those publishers were to earn $400 over however long it took to earn $400, my payout would be $180 of straight revenue from them. Because when they earn their first $10, you get matched 100%. So you get $10 of like a cash bonus paid out. Once they earn $50, I think you get paid $20. And then once they earn 100, you get 50. And then when they earn 400, you get 100. So once they earn $400, you'll get $180 of total revenue. So I would definitely say that's a great way to go around and earn extra money if you're just looking to do that. Definitely one of the better ways to kind of just earn a lot of money and with minimal effort. Hi Charlie, today is February 9th. My level dashboard short level will be updated on February 9th, but my level not update. Can you please check it? My account name for sure. Yes. Let me just write this down so I don't forget. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out and I'll have to do that for you. Header bidding ads are actually already enabled by default, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything there. If I become a premium publisher, can my website get demonetized? Yes, I believe so. If you were to violate policy even on premium, that could definitely happen. But I would just say, there's many things you can do to kind of avoid this. So yeah, if you guys have no other questions, I can kind of start to wrap this up. I don't know if you had any other questions you wanted me to cover. I guess I wanted to show you guys really quick what one of the best things you can do as of right now to just earn more money, like literally right now. You obviously wouldn't earn the money in this split second, but you would very quickly and very shortly. One of the best things you guys can all do right now to set yourself in a better position, go to Humix, turn it on, go down to channel, and you want to turn on, well, I can't be doing it because I'm not approved. This site's not approved. But you want to turn on grow and share and engage. This will allow others to show your videos and kind of go from there. But that's one of the best things you guys can do today to put yourself in a better position to earn more money. Should I disable ads above the fold? I would probably not suggest doing this because that is where you earn a majority of your money. There's definitely ways you can set up ads above the fold to minimize, hindrance of UX, but also see really good improvements to revenue. So I would probably say especially considering this perspective that we're all using Ezoic, so we're all considering monetizing our content, which means we want to earn money. So Toon, how to enable header bidding ads? They're actually already enabled by default, so this is great. But should I disable ads above the fold? I probably wouldn't not suggest doing that, to be completely honest. Simeon says, hi Charlie. For the person with issues, I'm just gonna voice your thing here. Maybe you guys can connect. Hey Charlie, for the person with issues in their website and security, I might be able to help. Scan his website to check that it's causing his notification. If it's okay, I can assist. If it's okay with him, then it's okay with him. Again, that's his business. It's his property. It's his project. So whatever he's okay with doing is okay. But yeah, I won't be able to interfere with that. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for the day, guys. I hope you guys did find some valuable insight of what I had to say. I know I ranted and kind of vented a lot, but I really do appreciate you guys coming. Quick one, yes, sure. I'll let you answer that, or I'll let you ask that really quick. But again, I do appreciate you guys coming. I really do love getting the chance to connect with you all. I think it's something that I like to do. Quick one. Okay, why do I earn more on AdSense than Ezoic? Again, this is going to have to go down to the current setup. Did we set up your ads for you? I have the two websites in the same niche, one on Ezoic and the other using AdSense. So you want to make sure that mediation is enabled for the site on Ezoic, because if AdSense is paying out higher for the inventory for the same niche on similar content, and you have mediation enabled in Ezoic, that higher bid that would have been paid out through AdSense will be paid out through Ezoic, which means you are earning more there. And if Ezoic ends up paying out more for the inventory compared to AdSense, then that Ezoic bid will then be paid out. So you need to make sure that your placeholder configuration is perfect. I can do that for you. You want to make sure that you have mediation enabled, and then also you want to make sure you have things like your floating video ad, side rail ads, and those things are also enabled, because that's exactly what AdSense does as well, to kind of put themselves above the leverage, or excuse me, above the table, if I say. But yeah, I'd be happy to go through that and kind of help configure those things for you. But again, if your mediation is still on pending, that's probably why you're earning less, because once that gets approved and AdSense does pay out higher for that spot, it'll win and you'll earn more, and you'll definitely earn more through Ezoic. All right, but I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. For some of you guys wrapping up your day, I hope you have a great night, and I hope you guys have a great Friday. Hopefully it's nice outside, so you guys can maybe get out and get some sun, take a break from the computer, use ChatGPT to kind of grow your business. Yeah, Joel says I earn 30x on Ezoic when I do an AdSense. There's definitely a good method to the madness. But yeah, which jQuery loading method is good? You can actually do it through Leap, and that's a really good way to do it. Everyone is different, I guess. No, totally. There's different niches. There's different sources of traffic. There's different types of, you can have the same niche and cover the same topic, but you can have a different article that's written differently with a different ad layout, and that'll definitely come into play. But I want to say thank you so much again, everyone. You are all the best. Please reach out to me via email. My email's in the comment section if you guys need anything at all. If you're struggling with something, I'll be more than happy to step aside and help you out in any way I can. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day and night. And enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.